approach to what the rest of the world has done. And basically, there is no sense of crisis in Tanzania. These are the things that we are doing, masks and sanitizing and washing our hands and social distancing. There isn't any of that. What do you make of that approach?
Could you spare me the need of talking about Tanzania? Every nation has got its strategic self-interest. So I don't want to support or to criticize what my friend Magufuli is doing in Tanzania. That is basically purely an internal affair of the Republic of Tanzania and its people.
Although it does have consequences for the neighbors, because the border is porous and the economies are integrated. There's a high volume of movement between the entire region, and I think that's why President Kagame was saying that that maybe this would have been done a little bit better if there was coordinated action across the region, because if there is a problem in Somalia, it will get into Kenya through the border. If there is uncontrolled transmission in Tanzania, it will get into Kenya through the border.
I've actually told President Uhuru that this is an issue they should discuss at the summit level of the East African heads of states and come up with a solution that is beneficial to all the member states of the community. So I think that is the platform where this matter should be handled. so that they don't split the votes for the presidency, so that that they win the presidency. After which, now they will share power after winning. But then they compete in the parliamentary seats. Okay? The post-election pact are usually in the parliamentary systems, because the political parties compete in elections, but when no party has won sufficient seats to form a government, then there's horse trading. They negotiate with other political parties so that they get the numbers to form a coalition and share power. Okay? Now, the pre-election pact, which NASA is, but if the coalition wins, then a coalition forms a government and they share. If they don't, the coalition dies automatically. What it means is just probably sharing, if there was an agreement to cover some sharing of some resources, like post-election. But there's nothing else. So, NASA was a pre-electoral coalition, you see? And NASA did not form a government.
So it expired naturally after the election?
That's naturally, yeah.
Okay. A couple of weeks ago, former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka said that you entered into a secret deal with him to support him for the presidency in 2022. Do you recall such a secret deal?
I don't want to talk about that. I don't know the context in which he talked about, and therefore I don't want to discuss that.
But if there was such an agreement, you would recall?
I would recall, but I don't want to talk about that.
Is ODM sharing the political parties' funds with the NASA partners, or there's no mechanism for sharing since the coalition no longer exists?
You see, there have been talk of some sharing of some billions of money and so on. You see, the ODM has been a parliamentary party right from 2010. And what the ODM has done, ODM went to court when the registered political parties and the treasury were not able to pay the money in accordance with the constitution. That was from 2011, 2012 coming upwards. Okay, that money had been computed, and ODM went to court and got a court award. Of course, the ODM has not been paid as we are talking, or a sense from that money from the treasury. Okay, there are some sharing of responsibility. ODM was sharing because some of the amount of money that we are supposed to share, the amount of money coming from the presidential elections, okay, and because the parliamentary elections, all the partner parties were competing. They were competing, all fielded candidates. So it's only the presidential that they did not field candidates. Now, unfortunately, because the elections of August, 8th of August, were nullified by the Supreme Court. And then we did not participate in the repeat elections of October 26th. Okay? As a result of that, no money is coming from the treasury to ODM, to anybody, for the presidential elections. ODM only received money for the parliamentary elections on the number of seats that it won.
Mm.
at the time.
Mm.
But that as it may, ODM has continued to run the joint secretariat of NASA and paying the staff which had come from other member parties for more than 1 year.
Mm.
Long after those parties had ceased to make contributions to the joint kitty.
Mm.
Okay? So there's really no disagreement, and I don't think that there's really controversy over those issues. The issues that can be accounted for, the treasurers and the secretary generals of the parties can sit down and compare the accounts and agree. I think the ODM is very transparent. We must honor all our contractual agreements and obligations.
Prime Minister, IBC, do you think as it is currently constituted, it's in a position to conduct a free and fair election?
I don't think so.
What should be done about it?
I think it should be overhauled.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it should be overhauled.
But in overhaul as in retire the entire commission and form it afresh?
Yeah, I mean, look at the entire commission and form it afresh. Look at even some of the staff, and do a general overhaul. Yeah.
Okay. It said that there are no permanent friends and no permanent enemies in politics. Are there circumstances where you would work with the Vice President, Deputy President William Ruto?
I have no problem with Deputy President William Ruto. I am the one who appointed him the Minister for Agriculture.
Yes, yes.
And then Minister for Higher Education.
I hired him and fired him.
Because
in the context of
because of the reasons which were there. The maize scandal. So, I mean, I really have, we're not enemies. We're not enemies at all.
You have a good relationship.
We're not enemies.
About the Constitution, 2010 Constitution, just your sense, because it's 10 years this month since it was promulgated. Do you think it has served as well? Briefly, what do you think we need to go back and look at?
I think that by and large, the 2010 Constitution was a landmark, a major departure from the abuse of power that the people of Kenya had witnessed from independence to that time. And I think that by and large, this new constitution has served us right, save for areas which were problematic and where there was no agreement. Remember, at Bomas of Kenya, a section of the delegates staged a walkout. And after they staged a walkout, they went to court and stopped the commission from presenting the report to Parliament. Then they went after that to Kilifi and came up with a Kilifi draft, which eventually was transformed into a Wako draft, which became the basis of the referendum of 2005. And that was lost. When now, after the crisis of 2007-2008, we came back through the Kofi Annan recommendation to do to deal with the contentious issues. A team went to Naivasha. But the Naivasha accord or draft was a firefighting document. It did not resolve the issues which were contentious. And this is the problem we're still having today. We need, like even the issues of the counties as we have them, we will not be where we are if you have gone the bomber's way. Okay? But now we have the counties with us, and it's like the hyena that has tasted the blood. It's very difficult to let go. Okay? So that's why we agree that there was a need to do this review. Most people are saying nothing is wrong with this new constitution. The paradox is that the same people who are saying this is wrong are the ones who opposed it. Look at the people who opposed the constitution in 2010, the red carders. Huh? And the one who allowed it today is saying there's nothing wrong with this constitution. Let's go on with it. Let's do the referendum together with the elections. And that is the hypocrisy which there is in the country. We want to do it not because it is self-serving. We want to do it because we think it is right to do it. The U.S. Constitution was amended within months after being passed. The same with the French Constitution. So there's nothing wrong with the Kenyans looking at our Constitution 10 years after it was passed. Okay? Because as they say, that is the wearer of the shoe who knows where the shoe is pinching.
One of the key pillars of that constitution was devolution, and you have been a lifelong champion of that, of devolving resources and power to the regions. What is your judgment in terms of how far we've come in terms of its implementation?
Well, I think devolution, we said, was an idea whose time had come. And they say nothing is as powerful as an idea whose time has come. And I think most Kenyans love devolution, because devolution has brought power closer to the people. People now participate in decision making. People can now also hold their leaders to account, okay? And resources also have been devolved. If you compare with the old provincial administration system, the PC was like a tiny god there, and inaccessible. You know, these days people can criticize the governor. Huh? The governor is available, and people can say all sorts of things about the governor. They can even impeach a governor. But the PC would come, could do all bad things together with DC, and if the people who are protesting, it would be transferred, most probably on a promotion to other places. So people were being ruled like the colonial days. People were not being led. Today we have got servant leadership, where these people are accountable and I think the weakness is that you have not yet devolved enough. You know, it is a transition, and you had also people sitting at the center who did not believe in the devolution, who said wanted to hold on to a lot of power here. This is the tug of war. The elephant in the room is this, that the old system has refused to let go. You see, there are certain functions which should no longer be done by the national government. Health has been devolved, but there are quite a number of functions which are still being held up here. Even education should be devolved more. There's no reason why the Minister of Education should be going to inspect primary schools in the rural areas. There's no reason why the high schools, in terms of infrastructure, are not the responsibility of the county government. Okay? Those should be responsibility of the county government, but they're still held up here. The other issue is like roads. Huh? The national government should only be dealing with class A, B, and C highways. But the rest of the county roads should be the responsibility of county government. In my view, in that case, the national government should not be dealing with the KENHA, the National Highway Authority, but KERA and KURA should go to the county governments. You see? So those are some of the issues that we need to look at. But I think the evolution is here to stay. We need to make it work.
Okay. Now let me ask the final question about your role at the EU. Have you enjoyed yourself? What are the highlights? What are some of the key achievements?
The issue that I've been engaging on right now is the African Infrastructure Fund, setting up an African Infrastructure Fund. This is the legacy that I want to leave at the AU, to set up this fund so that Africa does not depend on foreign countries for funding of its own infrastructure. See, in this continent we have got quite a lot of funds that are lying idle, particularly sovereign funds and pension funds, which are lying idle. So we have had consultations with several of these leaders of these funds, and I've also been talking to other financiers outside the continent to help to set up African Infrastructure Fund, which most African countries can revert to fund some of these projects within their territories. Like you can see now, we have this LAPSET project, the Lamu Port, South Sudan, and Ethiopia Transit Corridor. But we want, that's phase one. We now want to make it a Trans-Africa, that it goes from Lamu to Juba, then from Juba to Bangui in Central African Republic, to Cameroon in Yaoundé, to a port called Kribi. So that way you create a land bridge linking the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean, and you open up the interior of the continent. So these are the countries which are landlocked can hook on. Chad, Niger, Congo DRC, Congo Brazza, even Uganda, of course Sudan and North Sudan can actually hook on. Okay? But you need to have this package, this fund, so these countries can fund the lines which are passing within their territories. This is what I'm working on right now, to leave as a legacy. I'm also involved in talking about the open skies, the continent, because as you know right now, air travel in the continent is too expensive, because each and every country has got its own tiny control, and they're charging for the use of the airspace, making it very expensive. We're also looking at fiber optic connectivity around the continent, but a lot of private sector companies are working with us along that one. And then we're talking about the waterways linking the continent. Like right now, the big project we're looking at is making River Nile navigable, so that you can be able to travel from the Mediterranean right into Lake Victoria by ship. So that if you do that, countries landlocked like South Sudan, like Uganda, Rwanda, and Nini will have access to the sea. So you can be able to get ships coming from Europe and coming through the Nile and docking in Kisumu
Yes, yes.
And here. So those are some of the projects that I'm looking at.
Oh, okay, all right. Prime Minister, thank you very much. We apologize for imposing on your time when you're resting. Thank you very much, sir.